This video is to review and remind us about the place that collecting like terms has when we are simplifying other expressions. So you see the example that I have on the screen. It involves parentheses, and at first glance you don't seem to see any like terms. So if you recall, what I need to do in order to remove the parentheses here is I have to use what's called the distributive property. I have to distribute the 6 to the x plus 4. So just in case you're taking notes, I'm going to use what's called the distributive property. And what that involves for me is going ahead and taking this 6 and the negative. Remember, the sign always is associated with the number right behind it. And I'm going to multiply that -6 times each of the terms in parentheses. And that is going to be my first step. So I always encourage students, when you are working a problem, write down one step at a time, do one thing at a time, make sure you do it well, and then move on to the next step. Sometimes we make a lot of mistakes when we are trying to do more than one thing at a time. So notice the 2x is not involved with the parentheses, so I just write that down right away, 2x. And now I'm going to take the -6 times the x. Well, when there is a number not visible in front of the variable, that means there's a 1. So that's -6 times 1x is -6x. Then I'm going to go back. I'm going to take the -6 times the +4. So -6 times +4 is -24. So as you look at what we have left, I'm going to clean this up a little bit. As you look at what we have left, you see that we do now have like terms. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to collect the things that are like. So the 2x and the -6x, or 2x and the -6x, those are the like terms in the problem. So 2x minus 6x, 2 minus 6 is -4. X. Just want to remind you, if you struggle with adding and subtracting, I've got some great practice helps in a module that is above this on the student math community. So go back up and look for those and practice. And then since there is no like term here with the -24, I just bring that down -24. And there is our answer, -4x minus 24. I'm going to go to the next screen. I've got two problems here for you involving the same types of work. Pause the video, give both of these problems an attempt, and then come back. Remember, if you make a mistake, that's no problem. Mistakes are opportunities to learn, so take advantage of that. So pause. Welcome back. I hope you took a moment or two to go ahead and try these problems on your own. So again, in this first problem, it's very similar to the last problem. I'm going to take this 4 and I'm going to distribute it to the 3x, and I'm going to distribute it to the -5 so that I get rid of the parentheses. Notice the 8 at the front of the problem and the 9 at the back of the problem are not in the parentheses at all. So one thing at a time. I'm going to write down the 8 since I'm not doing anything with it right yet. And now 4 times 3x. 4 times 3 is a positive 12x. And then the 4 times the -5. The 4 times the -5 is -20. And then the +9 here at the end, again, it's not in the parentheses, so I just write it down. So now, with what we have, what are my like terms? Well, first off, I notice that I don't have anything that is like the 12x. There's none of the other terms that have an x, so I am going to bring that down, 12x. And then the 8 and the 20 and the 9, those are all like terms. So if you need to do this on your scratch paper, calculator, whatever your class allows, one thing at a time. So 8 minus 20 is -12, and then -12 plus 9 is -3. And there is our answer. The second problem, it's almost identical, except I have another x. in it. So I'm going to take the 2x and I'm going to multiply it and get rid of those parentheses. So here goes. First off, my 5x is not near the parentheses, so I'm going to write it down first. Then I have a positive 2x times a 4x. 2 times 4 is positive 8x squared. I am multiplying my x times my x. Product rule of exponents says add the two exponents. 1 plus 1 is 2. Then I'm going to take the 2x times the negative 9. 2x times negative 9 is negative 18x. And then last but not least, the plus 7 here at the end is not in parentheses at all. So when we go to collect our like terms on this problem, first notice there is no other x squared term, so I'm just going to write that down first, 8x squared. I do have two x's though. I have a 5x and a negative 18x, so that is negative 13x. And last but not least, this lonely number 7 on the end has nothing like with it, so I'm going to put a plus 7. For some additional practice, I've got some worksheets attached right below in the modules below this video. Go ahead and take a look at those, and if you need anything, post a question on the Student Math community.